really excited to introduce this next speaker. So our next speaker will be Idalid or Ivy Franco. She's chief resident at the Harvard Radiation Oncology Program and also now the chair of ARO Equity and Inclusion Subcommittee. And she will be talking today about RISE, an equity and inclusion-based virtual pipeline program for medical students underrepresented in medicine. So take it away.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jeans. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Idalid Ivy Franco. I'm Chief Resident at the Harvard Radiation Oncology Program. Today, I'll be discussing RISE, an equity and inclusion-based virtual pipeline program for medical students underrepresented in medicine. I don't know how to forward it. There we go. Okay, does that work? The project was funded in part by the Ackrow Luther Brady Educational Grant, and I have no additional disclosures to report. So some background, the emergence of a global pandemic forced disruptive innovations in medical education, including the creation of virtual clerkships for radiation oncology rotations. This included the Oregon Health and Science University, the Stanford University experience, as well as Rover, which we just heard about, all of them who have come up with papers so far talking about their experience with virtual away rotations. And there's also the creation of the virtual medical student elective, which I checked yesterday, and it had up to 21 different electives offered in radiation oncology virtually. So this last year, there were no away rotations that were encouraged. This year, they're encouraging only one away rotation, which creates difficulties in terms of students who are underrepresented in medicine. So we know that medical students underrepresented in medicine are 40% less likely to attend a medical school with an affiliated radiation oncology program. Additionally, they're increased in disproportionately disadvantaged when away rotations were canceled due to COVID. We know that there's a workforce diversity issue. We know 5.4% of applicants to radiation oncology are Black. We know 3.2% of residents in radiation oncology are Black, and only 1.5% of full-time faculty in academic radiation oncology are Black. So what did we do about this? We created a one-week virtual radiation oncology intensive shadowing experience, or RISE, which was targeted to medical students underrepresented in medicine, interested in radiation oncology, and currently attending US affiliated medical schools. We use a flyer on the right. We publicize using social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We also had correspondence with minority serving institutions, as well as collaborated with organizations targeted towards underrepresented students in medicine. So we used a Google form to determine eligibility. We then did pre and post program surveys, which were distributed to RISE participants, and those were analyzed using descriptive statistics. On the right, you can see an example of our Google form. And on the top, it has the different goals that we had for the RISE program, which included exposure to radiation oncology, knowledge through didactic teaching, mentorship opportunities, and a capstone experience. We talked about the different requirements, and really we just wanted to know a little bit about why the student wanted to go into radiation oncology. They had to be an MS3 or MS4, and they had to be from US affiliated institutions. We had 53 students submit a Google form. 19 students were from non-US affiliated programs. 14 students were less than an MS3. 2 students were not from groups underrepresented in medicine. So that left 18 eligible medical students that were underrepresented in medicine, of which 14 participated in RISE. We had 100% pre and post survey for the RISE respondents. Among participants, 29% were the first in their family to attend college, 43% were the first to attend graduate school, 36% had a relative employed in the healthcare field, and 79% reported an average parental income, annual income of less than $100,000. Motivation for participation was interest in the field, desire to learn more about the field, an interest in learning new technologies, and the most common source of information about RISE was through social media. Pre-survey, 43% were interested in learning more about radiation oncology, and 43% were interested in applying into radiation oncology. Post-surveys, those interested in applying into radiation oncology increased to 50%. Participants were very satisfied with patient interaction, the panel of minority residents and attendings, morning didactics, the capstone presentation, and the assigned mentors. The majority were very satisfied with the overall program and strongly agreed that they plan to utilize what they had learned in their future practice. All students agreed that the goals of the program were clearly stated, the coursework was appropriate for their level of training, and the course was helpful in deciding on specialty and would recommend the course to other students. On the right, you can see a word cloud of all the different responses we got when we asked students what was the most surprising about this experience, which included words like interpersonal, meaningful, attention. The word week is the biggest, but I think that the biggest reason why was that everybody was really shocked that in just 1 week of the RISE experience, they were able to have all of these different relationships with the residents, the attendings. They were able to learn a lot about radiation oncology, and there was a great number of them who had not had a radiation oncology rotation in the past. They also wrote the word mentors, amazing, enthusiastic, personalized, and invested. The RISE program specifically targeted towards senior medical students underrepresented in medicine, interested in radiation oncology, and impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic was a unique opportunity to center equity and inclusion within medical education. This experience was not only feasible, but desired and highly rated by participants. We expect our experience and reported outcomes will serve as a model and catalyst for other radiation oncology programs and competitive specialties with challenges of workforce diversity. Mentor surveys will be analyzed and reported to assist with program improvement, and one-year interviews of RISE participants will be done to capture ongoing impact of the program. In terms of future directions, long-term evaluations of such programs on increasing workforce diversity and improving representation within radiation oncology will be critical. There should also be consideration into expansion of such programs to underclassmen and non-US participants based on demonstrated interest. We would love to acknowledge the chairs at both departments, faculty, residents, physicists, dosimetrists, administrative staff, and all of those who made this program a possibility and a success. And we want to thank our amazing RISE students. And this quote perfectly captures what I think the RISE experience was this year. While a drop of water may seem small in space and time, it can have a substantial ripple effect. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Can either of you talk?
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay. Great. That was absolutely awesome. I mean, there was a question in the chat from Matt Spiker asking, what are the future plans for the current RISE program? Do you plan on repeating next year?
Yes, so we have started to talk about the different details of logistics for offering this upcoming year. Like I said, the AAMC is only encouraging one away rotation. And so for students who don't have radiation oncology programs at their institution, this really limits their opportunities. I would love to collaborate with different institutions if people have ideas on.
Oh, maybe you're frozen.
Different locations that might be. Is that better?
Yeah, I think we caught the end of it. Collaboration.
Yes,
yeah,
collaboration.
Wonderful. And then one last question for you before we go to break. Everyone's just really excited about all this work that you guys have done in the chat and really excited about the changes this could make. One question from Dr. Fields just asking about, how was faculty time basically protected, or how are faculty able to engage with the students, or are residents leading the majority of the sessions?
So the residents are leading the majority of the sessions, and they coordinated such that they're able to, the attendings are able to bring in either a computer or something like an iPad to have the virtual student with them when they're doing a follow-up or a new consult. They only do one follow-up, one new consult, and one OTV. And those are the three things they do with the attending. So the attending is going to be there anyways. And a lot of at least this past year, were all virtual. But they can also be brought into the patient room, and then the residents take the lead in terms of really covering papers and getting the student prepared for their capstone presentation.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.